Yeah. So, hey kiddos, it's Mr. Pino, and I have a special guest with me. This is Miss Olivia Ivey. She is a professional artist in the Atlanta community, and I'm recording a little video to provide her a platform to share some tidbits from her experiences with my students, with my classroom. I think that the focus for this particular segment might be something along the lines of collaboration, because I know how versatilely you have been channeling all your skill sets throughout the years. You have quite a laundry list of accomplishments. Why don't we go ahead and start for the kids? Just give yourself a little introduction and tell them some of the variety of performing venues and opportunities that you have been able to participate in over the years.
Sure. So, like you said, Olivia Ivey, I am a professional singer, actor, sometimes dancer if they make me. So my education is in music. I started as a musical theater major at the former Shorter College. About halfway through that, I was in a voice lesson one day, and they kept vocalizing me, and I was singing all the way up here on the piano, and they said, well, do you want to do
high C?
Oh, higher than high C.
What's your high range?
That I'm comfortable singing in public now, right. A D on a really good day.
Okay.
When I was in college, there were some pieces that I did that went up to an F or an F sharp.
Good Lord, woman, really? You're talking falsetto, full stretch to get there. I mean,
so falsetto. Women don't have falsetto. We have what's called whistle tones.
Interesting.
It's a different mechanism.
Okay.
But I never accessed my whistle tones. It was my full head voice.
So you're talking like chest range.
No, not so.
It's different because of the
registers. We're going way off topic
here,
but that's cool. Women's registers are you have chest voice, which is where you feel like you're resonating more in that. I call it the big mama voice sound.
Right.
And then there's what a lot of musical theater, pop, rock people use the belt, which is where you're essentially manipulating your chest voice higher, bringing your larynx up, tilting it higher, and that's what you hear in a lot of popular musical theater now. There's a mix, which is where you're belting, but you put more of the head voice in it. That helps to relax tension, and it's a healthier, safer way to achieve that big, exciting sound while still sounding big and exciting. And then there's the head voice. And then above the head voice is whistle tones. That's what you hear Mariah Carey do, and those really high notes. Yeah. So that's whistle tones. But head voice, let me just turn this on. I'll give you a little...
What a treat.
That's head voice.
Right.
I'm not going any higher than that because I'm not warmed up. If I were going to belt... Nya, 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 nya. That's a full chest voice, but raising my chest voice higher. And then, there's stuff in between that. I won't worry about that right now. But, so anyway, getting back to my education, I was in a voice lesson one day, and I just kept vocalizing, and I went to about here. And they asked me if I was interested in opera. I wasn't really, but it was exciting to me that I had the capability, and so I went back and forth. I was in a chorus line at the time. I was understudying several of the major roles on the line, and I was the girl in the beginning, I really need this job.
Yeah.
So, and the music director was the musical theater specialist at the time at Shorter, and he took me to lunch, and we had this long conversation about what did I think would be the best course for me and my instrument and my goals. And I said, I think I really want to music direct. I want to teach, not I wasn't interested in a music education degree, but I was interested in teaching one-on-one or in private classes, things like that.
Sure.
And he said, all right, then I think you should go toward the more classical route, because you're going to get more technique. You're going to get pedagogy, which is the study of teaching and how to teach a particular subject. And so that's what I did.
That's so cool.
And it was cool. And I did one really fantastic classical gig out of college. My first paying gig out of college was singing the soprano solos in Beethoven's Ninth Symphony with the
Wow.
Gainesville Symphony Orchestra.
Really full behind, and you
Yeah.
dressed to the nines?
Yeah, that was really cool. And that was the only actual classical gig I ever did.
Do you have photographic evidence of that?
I do.
don't know. Is that
Yeah.
on Facebook? I'm gonna have to stalk you up a little bit.
Way back
Like,
in it was.
way.
I graduated in 2009, so it
Okay,
would have been the
so-
fall of 2009.
Neat.
But so I did that, and then I immediately went back to theater and musical theater.
Okay.
And that's where the bulk of my experience has been, unless it's been opportunities that I've created for myself,
Okay.
until very recently. So something that I believe wholeheartedly in, and I'm going to start sidebar again. Have you seen that Gwendolyn Christie, who played Brienne of Tarth on Game of Thrones?
Yes, I'm okay. Yes.
HBO did not submit her to be nominated for an Emmy, and so she submitted herself.
Interesting.
I'm all about that. Be
That's
proud of your
cool.
work, create your own opportunities. You know, if you've worked hard and you know you've put in the work.
I mean, her character development on that show, the arc that they,
Mhm.
I mean, she was blessed from the writing perspective to
Yeah.
have the ability to, but the way that she was able to carry out the growth of that character.
Oh, strength and vulnerability
and yeah.
everything in between.
Oh yeah, and Mr. Pino loves strong female lead characters, and
Well, so does Mrs. Ivy here.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for a lot of my career too. I've been asking theaters that I had really good relationships with, can I come in and do a cabaret? Can I bring my people? Can I use your people? So I've done a lot of that. I've done a lot of church singing. I am in the process of developing a Christmas concert right now. I'm in the process of developing another concert early next year.
Mhm.
So I believe big time in creating your own opportunities. But here's the thing. There's so much more fun when you
Right.
bring in people who are top-notch quality and focused and have the same goal as you do.
Right.
And I was that kid that, you know, I can hit the high note and I can do this and I can do that, and I was that way all the way up until a little while after college, and it didn't get me nearly as far, and it wasn't nearly as fulfilling as collaborating with other artists.
What a wonderful. Thank you for providing me the segue to get back to the origin of our digressions, and forgive my ADHD. I love you. Thank you so much for participating in this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the focus of several of our conversations this past week with my new drama students has been the department comes first. We have to get past ourselves. We have to develop our crafts. But the one-liners we've always heard: the show is only as good as its weakest link.
Mhm.
And make the most of every situation, and you put yourself aside to collaborate and create good art, and try to look past the because I was that way too, and in a lot of regards I was a big fish in a small pond, and it wasn't until I got older that I
That
learned
the pond got bigger and the fish got smaller, and
it's about perspective. So I really didn't appreciate what others were bringing to the table more so than I was tracking my own progress. And there's a place for that.
Sure there is.
But let's give you an opportunity. Let's give a couple of quick pointers. Like, what are some of your I believes about collaboration?
Well, I'll start with something that was told to me all through college by a woman who had gotten a musical theater degree from Shorter, and then came back after having been on national tours and things.
Fun.
And she came back to be a coach for us and directed us in some shows. And she always said, oh, I hated it at the time. I hated it. And it's not been until I hit my 30s that I have really started to love this quote. And it is, love the art in yourself, not yourself in the art.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's really great. And when you start to think about the art, not in terms of I get to sing this song,
Right.
but this song is a vehicle to help this whole story. We're storytellers. Whether you are operating the board, whether you're designing the sound, whether you're the lead, whether you're third tree left, you know, writing the material, composing, arranging the material, no matter where you are in that process. And I'm speaking, you know, right now about musical theater, but this is the same for pop music. This is the same for filmmaking.
Sure.
This is the same for painting, you know, for sculpting. Anything artistic that requires a start to finish process with more than one person, um, we're all a part of the storytelling. We all are necessary in that storytelling. And once I finally got that idea in my head, that's when I started to be able to make music with other people, vocal music. And I'm going to do a little bit of squirrel here. I mentioned I got my degree in classical music, and I did not pay enough attention in my music theory and form classes. I thought, I'm a soprano.
Oh.
All I have to know is how to hit a high C and count to 4 over and over again, and I'll be fine. And that could have been true, but as I evolved as a human being and started to fall in love with storytelling more than just what my own voice sounded like, I realized that there are so many avenues to be a part of that storytelling, and I've actually started composing and arranging and music directing and all of those things that require more of the theory. And so I've gone back and I remember more than I thought I did. I didn't study as much as I should have at the time.
Practice makes perfect. You probably had a cursory glance at it through your exposure, and it's not so much again, I don't like to say it's about how seriously you take it. It's just about perspective. Sometimes you can't access certain tiers until you're mature enough to handle those tiers.
Sure.
And some students, just depending on your maturity level and not your age, can get there. And I want to try to provide the opportunity to expose you guys to these points of view, so that, God willing, you guys can get there a little faster than maybe we did.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say also, I didn't mention, but I come from a musical family. My dad is a world-class concert pianist, organist, accompanist. Now there are some really fantastic concert pianists out there who can play all day long, and then there are people who can accompany voices, and and there are a lot of people who can do both.
Right.
And my dad can do both, but he is a phenomenal accompanist. So if you're out there and you play the piano, start to think about this too, because and he breathes with us, and it's a collaboration. It's a storytelling together.
Collaboration.
And my mother is a equally gifted pianist and just an amazing singer. And so a lot of that chip on my shoulder came from wanting to make my own way. And so I didn't think about the love the art in yourself until much later, because I was very focused on creating my own artistic identity outside of my parents.
Sure.
But once I finally did, I mentioned I'm working on a concert for next year. My dad will play on that.
That's super awesome.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. And I am, bringing in people. For a while, I had a Celtic group.
I was.
And you sang with me on one of those.
I was able to sing in one of your Christmas shows that you put together.
Yeah.
And my goodness, the female voices when you got the
girls.
Five of us. Oh God, the five girls went front and center and sang some classic Celtic pieces that were just breathtaking. It was awesome, and thank you for including me in that.
Oh yeah.
So we're pushing past 10, and I want to try to wrap this up specifically because my fine friend here, whom we came to go to her swimming pool because she lives in a fancy neighborhood, she has another gig tonight because she is a professional. That being the case, I want to respect your time and
I'll tell them
the opportunity to
what the gig is. So I've talked about classical, I've talked about composing and arranging and all of that. And then at some point in my life, I developed a rock voice.
Yeah,
and
baby.
So now I sing with an event band, US Beat, and we play mostly weddings and private gigs, things like that. And I am I sing anything pop rock related, some country, but I'm mostly the 80s hair bands girl.
Oh,
that's what this is all about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I sing a lot of Journey and Whitesnake and AC/DC and all that stuff.
So I imagine some of my kids are going to want to stop to you. Does any of this exist? Are there recordings?
I'm sure there are somewhere. I know that there's
some videos. What was the
videos.
name of it one more time?
US Beat.
US Beat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for some YouTube and see if I can't find you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, again, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. On behalf of my students, thank you for sharing with us some of the tips, some of the tricks, some of the keys to success as you strive towards success in this field. I would hope that any of the advice that professionals can provide you with, you're able to capitalize on that. and strive for your own greatness. So thank you again to Miss Olivia Ivey.
Thank you, and break a leg to all of you, whatever you choose.